Hello again, everyone. Zack Attack is here with the attack line for Thursday, June the 14th, 2012. Alright, let's kick off with probably my mind one was buzzed about stories of the day involving Chris Brown and Drake. Now, these two guys have a lot in common. Number one, they're both successful Grammy Award and nominated singers and rappers. Chris is more of a full-time singer and part-time rapper as evidenced in his Grammy Award nominated Look At Me Now record. Drake is mostly a full-time rapper, singer, part-time singer. But they have one thing in common that caused a little melee at a New York club earlier this morning in the wee hours of the morning. Rihanna. They've allegedly dated or at least sang a song with Rihanna. Well, earlier this morning in New York City, there was a fight involving Chris Brown, his entourage, Drake, his entourage, involving also Meek Mill at the Soho Club WIP between 4 and 5 a.m., leaving 5 people injured. They were throwing bottles allegedly and blows over an argument about Rihanna. Brown tweeted several messages. I'm trying my best not to be offensive, but I'm going to say this. N-word, throwing bottles, your N-word's weak. He wrote in posts that since been taken down. According to several sites, a fight broke out after Brown sent Drake a bottle, which the Canadian rapper apparently saw as a provocation. He reportedly began arguing with the singer about ex-girlfriend Rihanna, and then punched Chris Brown in the face, which he posted a photo of his busted chin and him in the mouth with a bottle before he could retaliate from the punch. Drake has denied involvement, saying, according to a representative, he said Drake did not participate in any wrongdoing of any kind last night at WIP. He was on his way out of the club when the altercation began. Drake did not engage in any activity which resulted in injury to person or damage of property. But of course, Chris is saying they're involved in an attack, that they're playing the victim in a situation involving Chris Brown. And he said one bystander that was involved in this fight was injured. It was a 24-year-old Australian Holly was at the club and was struck by a flying bottle. Footage has since surfaced of the event. So there you go. And even Meek Mill denies any involvement. No matter what happened, apparently all hell broke loose when Drake, Meek Mill, and Chris Brown got involved in a club earlier this morning. So see if the real story comes out. But at least there was a little bit of altercation this morning, last night, at a club in New York City. Speaking of New York City and rappers, on with our next story involving 50 Cent. Well, it's been a long time since 50 released an album. Mostly label politics involving Interscope Records has been the cause of problems for 50 Cent. He's now set a July 3rd release of his brand new album, which probably no one cares about now, called 5 Murder by Numbers. His new album, the follow-up to 2008's Before I Self-Destruct, has been long in the rating. But of course, the ratings not been anticipated by many, because everyone knows 50 Cent is dead. His career is dead. I'm sorry, man. I think everyone agrees with me. 50 Cent was hot. When his first album, Get Rich or Die Trying, came out, it was a hot album. Everybody had that album. I even had that album. It's a good album. But after The Massacre, which was another decent album, he fell off the face of the earth. Especially after the whole Kanye thing when Curtis came out on the same day as Kanye's album back in 07. See what 50 does in his album, but no one cares. No hits, no nothing. Speaking of a band who used to have hits in 2005, on with Green Day. Well, at least Green Day's had something 50's never had in a long time, a #1 album. Their last album, 21st Century Breakdown, was a huge success. But now they're about to release not 1, not 2, but 3 albums. As earlier this year, Green Day of course announced the release of 3 albums, Uno, Dolls, and Tre. Uno is about to come out on September the 25th, the same day as No Doubt's album Push and Shove, which I mentioned on yesterday's Attack Line. He revealed the album art today in a trailer involving Billy Joe Armstrong, picture with a green background with pink X's over his eyes with the title on there. The new 30-second trailer contained a couple song titles. If you pause it on the 11-second mark, you see several songs. I don't know if they're going to be on the new Uno or it's going to be for all 3 albums. I see Calm Down, Let Yourself Go, Fell For You, Crushing Bastards, Fuck Time, Kill the DJ, among others. Round 1, apparently. We don't know if they're going to be making the album Uno or maybe Dos or Tres will be coming out in November and January respectively. So there you go. Green Day unleashes their album art for the new album Uno coming out this September. Now, before I get to TNA Impact, let's get over some WWE news. Well, in the midst of the chaos that ended this past Monday Night Raw, it's probably Big Show and Vince McMahon, there was a new stipulation involved in the John Cena Big Show match that was made on Raw that if Big Show loses, John Laurinaitis will be fired. Well, there was a new stipulation. John Cena loses, he's fired. But will anybody get fired? No one's getting fired, of course, because of, well, Linda McMahon running for Senate again. Because no one wants to see Linda McMahon's husband get rid of jobs when Linda's about creating them. That was mostly why Chris Jericho was suspended, because of they didn't want anything to detract Linda McMahon's campaign. So, reason for not firing people, maybe just because of Linda McMahon's campaign for Senate. But as we all know now, the stipulation involving Big Show losing, he will fire Laurinaitis. Well, Cena loses, he's fired. So we'll see, well, will anybody really get fired this Sunday at No Way Out in the Steel Cage match? Because the stipulation was made during the SmackDown tapings this past Tuesday. Now on to TNA Impact Wrestling preview. The aftermath of Slammiversary in the World to not one but 2 pay-per-views. One next month and one that won't even take place until October. I'll get to that in a moment. Top 5 questions that, actually top 4 questions that must be answered tonight. Question number 4. What will go down between this whole love triangle story, this storyline involving AJ Styles, Dixie Carter, and Surge. Now, following 2 weeks ago on the phone conversation of AJ and Dixie that was played, Dixie was about to tell the truth about the whole AJ thing. But Kaz and Daniels interrupted, causing AJ Styles to the rescue, scaring off Kaz and Daniels. However, Dixie's real-life husband Surge came in and punched AJ Styles, prompting AJ to leave the arena before at least coming back for the main event that evening at 6-man tag. Now that AJ's, of course, one half of the new TNA World Tag Team Champions now, winning them with Kurt Angle this past Sunday at Slammiversary, what will go down between these 3 people? Probably Dixie will tell more of the truth if she doesn't get interrupted again, like she was last week. So expect some sort of weird, awkward incident involving Dixie, AJ, and Surge. Question number 3. When the match is being announced for Destination X? In part 2 of question 3, what will happen in our Ultimate X match tonight, which will kick off TNA Impact Wrestling tonight? Now, Destination X is our next pay-per-view, and what better way to tease the build-up for Destination X than Ultimate X for the TNA World Tag Division X Division Championship. A triple threat Ultimate X match. Of course, it being in a round ring would be kind of weird. Instead of being a square, 6-sided ring, we want that back. But we're going to do like last year, bring the 6-sided ring back for the Destination X pay-per-view one time only. They did it last year. But we also Aries defending the title against Zema Ion and Chris Sabin. Chris Sabin was, of course, in the very first Ultimate X. I think it was the first winner, too. And this should be a very exciting match to kick off Impact Ultimate X. Building up towards Destination X. Will it be an all X Division pay-per-view again? Or will it be all divisions? We'll see if anything else gets announced. Anything gets announced for Destination X. But at least the road to it starts tonight with Ultimate X. So there you go. Nice way to build up the pay-per-view. Question number 2. What will go down for the TNA World title? As we all know, Bobby Roode retained the World title this past Sunday at Slammiversary. Last week, Hulk Hogan made on Impact a match for this week's Impact. No matter who would have won the title match, whether it was Bobby or Sting, they would have to defend the TNA World title tonight. A triple threat match was made for Slammiversary, and the winner of that would face the champ tonight, and the winner of the match between RVD, Jeff Hardy, and Mr. Anderson, accidentally said Kennedy, same thing, Kennedy, Anderson, same fucking thing. Mr. Anderson won that triple threat, so that means Mr. Anderson will be taking on Bobby Roode tonight for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. I smell another Bobby Roode cheap victory tonight against Mr. Anderson, but should be a very okay matchup. Speaking of Bobby Roode and the TNA World title, that leads me to question number 1. Who will be the participants in the second annual Bound for Glory series? As we all know, Bobby Roode was the winner of last year's Bound for Glory series, but as we all know, he didn't win at Bound for Glory. For the second year in a row, the Bound for Glory series will be happening, and the 12 participants will be determined with a gauntlet match. The participants of this Bound for Glory series will begin doing the gauntlet match, and of course, as we all know, the scoring system. A submission victory gets you 10 points. A pinfall victory gets you 7 points. Of course, there's a scoring system involving 12 men. Every victory counts in this. You get points. Like I said, counter victory gets you 5. DQ gets you 3. Draw, time limit, DQ, double count out, double DQ, 2 points. In a loss, you lose 10 points. Each wrestler will battle each other once in the series. It will not only take place during Impact tapings, but Impact house shows as well. And of course, the top lead people, the top point people will fight it out at No Surrender to determine who will indeed win the series. And of course, the winner will face off against the TNA World Champion at Bound for Glory. If I were to predict the 12 guys, I would guess AJ, Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, RVD, Crimson, Samoa Joe, Bully Ray, Sting. That's 8. I can't think of the other 4. That's my prediction. But we'll see what 12 guys will be in the Bound for Glory series tonight. And of course, all the aftermath of Slammiversary and heading towards Destination X, kicked off by the Ultimate X match tonight at 8/7 Central on Spike TV. That is it for today's Atakline. See you all later for my TNA Impact review. See you then. And bye. Y'all been attacked by the news from Zach. Thank you very much. See you all later. Yeah.